Mid-year reviews are one of the most useful opportunities managers and employees have to pause, reflect, and refocus. But too often, they become an administrative exercise, something to complete rather than a conversation worth having. A good mid-year review should do much more. It should recognize achievement, create clarity about progress, explore challenges honestly, and help people focus on what matters most for the remainder of the year. Because better conversations create better outcomes. The starting point is getting the mindset right. A mid-year review should reflect on the first half of the year, but its real value is in using what we have learned to make the second half stronger. It isn't simply about looking backwards or completing paperwork. It's an opportunity to pause, reflect, learn, and refocus. It often helps if you approach the conversation with curiosity, rather than judgment. Understand what has happened, recognize what has worked, and use that insight to decide what happens next. Recognize, reflect, reset, follow through. These are 4 simple principles that can help. First, recognize. Be clear about progress and achievement. Acknowledge what has gone well and the contribution that has been made. Second, reflect. Explore what has helped performance, what has hindered it, and what can be learned. Third, is reset. This is where you can find and agree realistic priorities for the remainder of the year. Keep the focus on the things that will make the biggest difference. And finally, follow through. This is where you close the loop on actions and support. Because the value of a good review isn't just what gets discussed on the day, it's what happens afterwards. The PREPS framework. This part of the program has been designed to help structure the conversation, and we use a simple framework called PREPS. This is short for purpose, results, explore, progress, and support. It's not intended to be a rigid script. It's simply a structure that helps keep the conversation focused, constructive, and useful. We will now look at each part of PREPS, one element at a time. P is for purpose. The intent is to start the process with purpose. This is a great opportunity to ask yourself, why are we actually having this conversation? If you are clear about the intention, and what would make the discussion valuable, it's a lot easier than just going through the motions. You might simply say, the purpose of today is to reflect on progress. Identify what is working, explore any challenges, and agree priorities for the remainder of the year. This gives a very clear start, and gives the conversation direction from the beginning. R is for results. This section enables you an opportunity to look at results, to find out what has actually been achieved. Recognize progress and positive contribution, but keep the discussion grounded in outcomes and evidence, rather than activity alone. You may want to know what achievements stand out, what progress has been made against agreed goals, or where are there still gaps that need attention. The aim is to get a balanced and realistic picture of performance so far. E is for explore. This is where curiosity really matters. What has gone well? What challenges or barriers have emerged? What has helped performance, and what has made things more difficult? Are great starting questions. You will need to listen carefully and make room for the employee's perspective. And where feedback is needed, keep it clear and constructive. Focus on the behavior, explain the impact, clarify what is needed in future, and agree appropriate follow-up. The objective is understanding and improvement, not defensiveness. P is for progress. This is where the conversation starts looking firmly ahead. You now get your chance to set out. What are the priorities for the remainder of the year? What should continue? What might need to stop or change? And what needs to start? Keep the priorities realistic. Clarity beats a long list of good intentions. Finally, S is for support. This section gives you an opportunity to find out what will help the person succeed. You can use this opportunity to see what might be needed to support development, resources, guidance, coaching, or simply greater clarity from their manager. You could ask, what support would make the biggest difference to the remainder of the year, as it offers you an opportunity to be clear about any commitments being made by you. Remember, actions without support can quickly become just good intentions. Preparing for success. Of course, we now know that great reviews begin before the meeting starts. We want you to build best practice in your management process. All good managers should arrive with evidence of achievements and results, an understanding of goals and expectations, and prepared thoughts about challenges, development, and support. Employees should also be encouraged to prepare too. Use the mid-year reflection tool to review achievements, progress, obstacles, and to identify future priorities and what support can help. Preparation doesn't mean scripting everything. It means arriving ready to have a constructive, well-thought-out conversation. And now comes the part that's often the easiest to forget. The follow-through. A good conversation can create clarity and momentum. But that momentum disappears if nobody comes back to what was agreed. So keep it simple. Make sure to schedule a quick review again in around 10 days. Maybe a check-in, over coffee or an informal meeting. At 30 days, review progress a little more formally and deal with anything that's getting in the way. And at 90 days, take a broader look at progress, outcomes, and any support that may need to change. It doesn't need to be complicated, but it does need to be in the diary. Make the conversation really valuable. Do the follow-up and drive real progress. Mid-year reviews work best when they're treated as an opportunity for development, rather than simply an administrative requirement. Recognize achievement, reflect honestly, reset priorities, provide meaningful support, and follow through. One conversation won't determine the next 6 months, but a good conversation, followed by clear action, support, and continued dialogue, can make a significant difference. Use the tools and reflection exercises in the accompanying workbook to help prepare for your own conversation. And remember, better conversations create better outcomes. Thank you for taking the time to invest in yours.